the friendly three. My name is Natu, and to my right is
Inka.
and to my left is
Buki.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you're a first-time viewer, kindly make sure that you subscribe, like, and leave us a comment. And for our returning viewers, thank you so much for your support. And if it's the first time you're watching us, kindly make sure that you watch our other videos in the previous weeks. That said, today we have a very interesting topic. So a caveat, what we say are only our thoughts. They're not reflective of everybody else out there. So would love to hear what you guys think. And it doesn't make us right. It doesn't make you wrong. So would love to hear what you think. So we debated about this for a little while. So we are talking about having access to your partner's personal information / personal property. So by personal information, we mean things like your partner's personal banking information, things like their credit card information. And property, we're talking about things like your partner's cell phone. So I know that's a bit of a weird topic for a lot of people, because people are sitting at different views as far as should you have access, should you not have access. So for today, I'll start with asking my dear friends, and I'll also answer that question too. Do you think, as a girlfriend, as a wife, do you think you have the right to access your partner's personal information / property? So I'll start with Buki, and you know why I'm starting with you.
Okay, so you said, do I have the right?
Do you think you have the right? Exactly.
I don't think I have the right, but I'll still do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go through your phone if I have access to it. I'll go through your house if I have access to your house, because I don't want to be burned by something that I'm not privy to. If I already have foreknowledge or foreinformation, I already know what I'm working with. So I think that's where I stand, even though I'm not supposed to check it.
Okay. Olayinka, what about you?
I think I might sound extreme, but I strongly believe I have a right.
You have the right.
I have the right.
So why do you think you have the right?
Well, because for one, I think I practice, or I try to practice what I preach. So you would have a right to my phone or my personal items, my house, whatever the case may be. And I just feel the same should apply to me.
Okay.
Like, it's like a simple rule. Like, so long as I'm not being unfair by saying, when it comes to me, no. I want that balance. Like, you have a right to it, because there's a reason we are together. I have a right to yours. That's what
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think I agree with Buki to a certain extent. I don't think I have the right to access your information. However, I still would love to have that access. That said, I'd love to have that trust that you trust me enough to access your information. That said, I do not go looking for things unless I have a reason to. Right. So I'm the type of person that your phone is your phone, my phone is my phone. And for that reason, because or maybe even emails, because sometimes the things that are being shared that are personal, let's say a conversation that I'm having with you or Buki, I do not want my significant other to have access to that information. So I'll give an example. There was a time me and ex-boyfriend, we used to have each other's access to each other's phones. And then there was something that a friend had confided, something in private that I believe I was probably the only person that knew about it. Fast forward a couple of months after we're talking and stuff, and then he just drops it casually. Do you know how awkward that was? I mean, she did excuse that, okay, it's pillow talk and stuff, but for me, I was like, maybe we need to
pillow talk.
exactly.
Right?
Maybe we need to have boundaries. That said, you guys have already established that you deserve to have access. At what point of the relationship? So do you need to have access the moment you start dating? Do you need to have access once you have become exclusive, or do you need to have access once you got married? So I'll start with you, Yinka.
So I would say exclusive, because at that point I feel like we've reached a point where we are like, this thing is for real now. So what are we hiding at this point?
Yeah.
What, especially when it comes to things like that, I feel it should be basic. That's the way I see it. But I know this might seem different to other people out there. But I feel even if your friend, you were having like a discussion with your friend, like the example you gave, it should, I feel I'm discreet enough to keep it, And
Yeah.
even though I have read through that chat and I feel like, okay, maybe this should have been something personal and in between them because this person kind of confided in them, I still feel I won't go out there and blab it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's just based on my own personality. I feel it's not a big deal. Right?
So, hold that thought before I get to booking. What in case you read your partner's phone and you realize that your mother-in-law or one of your husband's relatives have said something about you that you don't like? And that's not something that you're supposed to say.
Well, okay, so no doubt I'll be hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. But I will also think about the fact that it could have been my own family saying that at that point.
Okay.
So, one thing I can do is I can try as much as possible to. I feel it has even given me an avenue to see how I can better
I like your
make
perspective.
a relationship, like my relationship with that
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
gel. And
Yes.
that's one way to say it. Really, I wouldn't take
It
it
gives
as,
you an edge because you already have information.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you know how you relate with that person or how you can make the relationship better.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What about you, Buki? At what stage do you think so? And not only a person's phone, but a person's house. At what stage do you feel? And she knows why I'm asking
I'm
this.
so guilty on all these things. At what stage?
Yes. Is it when you guys start
Once I
talking?
have access to your house, even when we are this talking stage, and I know that okay, I think this guy is going to move on to me. Like okay, I think he likes me and all of that. I hope people don't find me as one weird person, but I'll go through your house. I just need to know. Maybe you are married and you're just telling me, oh, I'm single. I might find something that would be to my advantage. Maybe you have your wife's passport in your house, or maybe you have a serious relationship. I mean, I'm just by the side. You're using me to keep warm. Do you get? So the thing is, I would go through your property. I need to know what is happening. And then I think there was something else you asked.
Yes. So in case you find your husband is having a conversation with somebody else, and then that person they're talking about you, not in a probably a malicious way, but maybe they're addressing something that. I actually didn't like your wife did XYZ.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel? Because that was a personal conversation between
So,
your partner and that person.
yeah. When I'm going through my partner's phone, I check his conversation with his friends.
Okay.
I usually don't check his conversation with ladies. Is what he's saying with his friends. That is how you will know. From my own from my own experience, that's how you know if a guy is feeling you. Like what he says about you to his friends. If he has said something that I'm not really down with, I'll also check his own actions to see if his conversation tallies with his actions, and then I'll make my conclusion. Like what Yinka said, if you maybe like her intending mother-in-law and she had said something like, oh, I don't like how this girl is, or something that doesn't really sit down well with her, it's giving me an edge, especially if it's a guy that I really like. I would like to see a future with him. It gives me an edge. If it's something that I can work on, immediately I'm already working on it. Not like because I want to suck up to her, but if it's something that will give me an edge in that relationship, by all means, yeah.
Well, I guess that's why I am not married and you guys are married, because that was a very adult conversation. Because me, I see you people are gossiping about me. First of all, it's gonna hurt my feelings, but I don't know if I would have thought like maybe I need to do better. Maybe that would have come afterwards, like after I've caused havoc and stuff. But to answer the question, I think when we were dating, you don't need to have access to my phone. I don't need to have access to your phone. However, unless there's a reason.
Exclusive?
Even if it's exclusive. So I had an ex who,
I always know my ex's password.
yes, we had decided that we were going to share passwords, and I never even checked his information, none of his information, but he always went through my information. And sometimes he used to say, you just have interesting friends on social media, so he would like to just go read their stuff, not even following up on me and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, that was okay. But I did end up getting burnt because
You didn't do the due diligence.
I didn't do the due diligence. So I got burnt two ways. One, with that sharing of information, there was a time that we had taken a break. And then I completely forgotten that this person has access to information. And I remember I was venting to a friend like, this guy, like I don't even know why I'm thinking about him. Like, and then I just started ratting him out, like, and it wasn't something malicious, but it's things that would hurt his feelings. He just sees that.
Right.
And when we go back together, he took a screenshot and sent that to me.
Oh boy.
Jesus. I still remember to date. I was like, but the time that it worked to my advantage, me having access to his information, as I said, I try not to abuse it. If you're not, like, we were exclusive, but we were not, like, we were hoping that we'll get married someday, but there was no conversations of, like, we'll get married next year or the following year. None of that.
And I'm guilty of something now that Buki mentioned about going to people's, well, not people's, but your guys' house. So, at the time, I wasn't even dating my husband now, but I went to his house and I think he was in the kitchen or something, and I just went snooping in his room, wardrobe, everything. Because honestly, let me just say, at first I had like reservation about like where he's from. I really don't know how the culture is, or the kind of person or the kind of men they are. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to put myself in a position where I would fall for this guy, because I was already liking him, I need to know what are the medications he's using.
That's actually a good idea. That's a good idea. I never think about things like that.
Yeah, because you just never know what you find.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was like, medications, the kind of like things you keep in your house, you're not fraudulent, things like that. So I was just snooping, checking, and unfortunately he found me. And he was like,
got red-handed.
Like, what are you doing?
Now you don't do those things when they are in the house.
True, but the thing is, at that point, I couldn't have been at this place without him being there. It's not like I had a key, right?
Oh yeah.
So I was like, man, he's busy in the kitchen. Let me do it quick. I think maybe something ministered to him somewhere that this girl is doing something. So he just came and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, nothing really. I was just taking a look at how you arrange your stuff, you know.
Wow.
Well, now you know the truth.
So you guys have raised really good points. You need to find out more information about that person. That's why you need to have access to their personal property. So their house, their phone, their social media. But what if a person is hiding? Because some people are really good at hiding. Some people, like, you go to their house, they hide their medical records. You Google social media. I had a guy, we had access to each other's phones, and his chats were always cleared. Yeah? Like, you just see chat with mom, chat with uncle, like no friends, nothing. So what if they're hiding information? What are you going to do at that point in time? Like, you, as far as you're looking, it's clean. But this guy has something else. Because what's your remedy?
If I know he's hiding something, like, I don't believe somebody's chats would always be clean. You're not my mom.
True.
My mom has the cleanest WhatsApp chat. I don't believe anybody this age, especially if you're on social media or if you have WhatsApp and all those other messaging applications, your chat wouldn't be clean. But if, for example, it's clean and you're hiding something, I just always pray I have the instinct to know when something is wrong. That is all I can say, because we've heard of situations where these people are so good at hiding stuff, and then you end up getting married to the person, and then it's at marriage stage you now find out that, okay, this was a lie all along. So I just try to, where does my instinct come to play? It might be just one thing you say, and that's the one thing I'll just hold on to, like, okay, you know.
And then you go from there, right? So I agree with that 100%. And I think the other thing is, unless you delete it, I'll find it. Especially if it's digital.
Is it the IT person in you?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I have a story to this.
I didn't know that
I have a story to this. I think there was a time when I was still dating my husband, and he had, put file into file. My friend, that day he was not home. So I had his PC. Normal, I think he just felt, this girl will just do normal browsing, music, whatever. I started opening folders, my sister. Folder, if I see I opened all the folders and I saw everything I needed. And I didn't accuse him, I don't. I'll wait for the times where I will ask you questions randomly.
Like, I need you to confess.
And then if you lie, I'm like, lie number one, okay. Another day, just random discussion, question. That's how I get my information. But so long as you don't delete anything. And also, I think based on the fact that they always teach us in school that usually people hide things in plain sight. So I don't care if you've saved one number as mom, sis, aunt. I will skim through. I need to be sure it's mom. I need to be sure it's actually sis. I need to be sure it's just probably, sometimes you might even use a name that I'm familiar with, that maybe a friend I already know, that I know this person's your friend. You can't hide things in plain sight for me.
I'm very gullible.
I will check.
I'm very, very gullible.
Because I remember last week you said somebody told you the capital of Tanzania and then you were...
No, but she defended that.
I know, but that one is really smart. Like, I defend him on that. But I do realize I'm gullible because I did have an ex who, like, every time I'd speak to my parents, he's like, I need to hear the voice. And I'm like, why would I save dad as dad? Like somebody else's dad and stuff. But now it makes sense.
Yeah.
And maybe he was doing the same thing. Maybe he had somebody as mama, and he wasn't even mama.
And then they will even rename their mom with
Another name, like Helena.
Name. Yeah. And then the real deal is the mom.
Jeez.
The one you're looking for, that's secret chat.
Shine your eye indeed. So, at what point where do you draw the line? So, where do you say, you know what, I'm not going to check this, I'm not going to check that? Like, where is the line? Where do you draw the line? Yinka.
There's no line, no.
You.
There's no line. See, let me tell you something. I always say it's better to be safe than sorry. That's it. There's no line. Like, especially when it comes to information, there's no line.
Yeah.
Like, for me, there's no line. I have to know everything. I need to know everything. Like, I need to be sure that this I can either live with this or run.
What about what doesn't kill you makes you, like, what you don't know won't hurt you?
Most times it usually does. I think
because eventually when you know, it even hurts you the more, like, I wish I had known this thing.
Because maybe you would have made an informed decision.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So there's no line for me.
I remember I had the same ex that had went and seen me bad mouthing him because out of anger. So fast forward, I think a year or two after, we had that relationship for a long time. I had started suspecting that he's in another relationship because he used to live somewhere else and then moved back home.
Right.
And then I started suspecting, but we're good friends, and I would ask him, I'm like, everybody is saying you're dating so and so. He's like, no, we're good friends. Like, there's absolutely nothing. Like, I swear upon God. Then one day I remembered, because I'd completely forgotten I had access. One day I remembered. I went to Facebook. Everything was right there. Wow. The exchanges, the everything. And for a minute, I wished I had never gone through that. That heartbreak. I was like, how could this person lie to me? But later on, I was like, you know what? Maybe that was God's way, because everybody was telling me this guy has a different life, but me, in being in life and not wanting to listen, but access to that information. And then I asked myself, should I have just trusted him and then maybe I'll find out later, or should I have been snooping earlier? Like, how do you know when to start, when to stop? Now, this brings me to the next point. Have you guys ever been burnt by snooping through the information? Buki.
I don't think I have been burned by going through information. Like I said, it just gives me informed knowledge of if I can probably move ahead in the relationship with you, or break it off, or just know my stand. And going back to the question you had asked about, where do you draw the line?
Yes.
At the moment, I know I have access, but I won't go through your information, but I know I have access. So when the day comes for me to go through your phone, or go through your email address, or go through your stuff, I want to be sure that the trust I have placed in you is still there. And I'm not going through your phone because I want to find stuff. That's what I usually say. I don't even go through your phone because I'm looking for stuff. I just go through it because, okay, what's happening on this person's phone? And then I just think, okay, so WhatsApp. And then I'm already on WhatsApp, and like that. I have not been burned by going through somebody that I've been dating, their information.
Yinka, have you ever been burnt by accessing your partner's information?
No. I would say probably there have been fights, like
Yeah.
disagreements, like
Yeah.
so explain this. I found this. Why did you send this kind of message? Why is this person sending this kind of message? You know, but burned, no, not really.
Now, last bit before we wrap up this conversation, do you guys feel cell phones and social media have affected the relationships that we have with our partners? I'd say relationships in general, but relationships that we have with our partners. Do you feel they've affected that? Our mom's generation did not have cell phones, did not have social media. Do you feel like now we have access to too much information? And in some way, it has affected, maybe positively and negatively. Where do you stand with that?
Positive and negatively. I think for our parents back in the days, they would just be worried like, oh, where's my husband? Where's this person? Because there was no access to phone at the time, cell phone. But now, if I'm trying to call you and you're not picking up, I'm already worried because your phone is meant to be with you.
Yeah,
That's true.
So if eventually I now go through your phone and I see that the reason why you were not picking up was because you were with somebody, and I'm already raising an eyebrow over this person, that's an issue. So for me, it's an advantage in a way, like it already makes me know what is happening in my relationship, whether good or bad. You kind of know sometimes where you stand with somebody if you have access to their phone. Not all the time, but in most cases, if you have access, I may not have the right to go through your phone, especially if you have not given me the right. But I believe if you have given me the password to your phone, you have given me a right in a way, like, oh, I give you access to my phone. And I even think if you're in a relationship or if you're married, you guys are having sex, your phone should be the least of your worries.
Yeah, that's true.
I've heard of situations where one partner dies and then the other partner cannot access the person's information. And that is all you need to be able to let me know what is happening to this person. Maybe his phones, maybe this is his lawyer. But because I don't have access to your phone or to your property, there is nothing I can do.
That's true. What about you, Yinka? Do you think it has positively or negatively affected the use of social media, the access of cell phones? Right now, we have access to too much information. Is that positive, negative? What are your thoughts?
I feel it's positive, and my reasoning is for our mothers and probably, I don't know, great-grand, ancients, whatever. That's the word I was looking for. I feel right now a lot of people will say, "Oh, a guy has side chick, a guy has side chick." I feel it was happening in the past.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But because most of these people are just at home, they have no access to like the person's phone because there was no phone. They didn't even know they didn't have any means to track that person. They were not aware of it. And I feel like a lot of them got cheated on based on the fact that first they couldn't even make an informed decision because they didn't really know who they were getting married to.
True.
And then second, even after they got married, they were still doing it out there. But there's no evidence, like other than mama something saw mama something in her hair, and then we saw your husband doing the normal gossip. So other than that, there was no way for them to know that their husband was doing something wrong. But now I feel with the digital age, you have more access to information. You have more access to know what's going on with this guy. So it's not left for you to either turn a blind eye or whatever they call it and say, I know he's doing this, I will still go with it.
Yeah, sure.
Or
you're making an informed decision.
Exactly. Or you just walk away from it. So to me, it's positive than of course, everything would have its
pros and
sides,
cons,
right?
Yeah.
But I feel it's more positive. And that's it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, but I also think there's negatives to it. So I'll highlight the negatives that I see. I'm usually under the impression what I don't know or what I know won't kill me. Yeah. So I try not to go look for things unless they're right in front of me. Unless you give me a reason to start looking for things. But once you start, you're like, okay, you've seen he liked this person's picture. Now you're starting to compare yourself to this person. Is this person beautiful? Oh, is she more beautiful than me? You see, and I feel like a lot of people, Buki has gotten flowers from her husband. And I'm like, oh, why is my husband not bringing me flowers? Why? So I feel like there's that comparison of joy or comparison of things that are being done. Yes. And also, for lack of, sometimes we also look for things like
that are not there.
Like you're digging for stuff. So I think it's good, but it has pros and cons. So goes to say with anything, know who you are as a person, figure out where you stand, and don't go looking for things that you know you cannot handle. I beg, don't.
Or look for it and handle it.
Exactly.
That's also a good. That's also a good perspective. And for me, if I have to go and fish for something, that's also a cue for me to probably exit. If I'm looking for reasons to be like, if you have already seen there's something wrong here, but I'm constantly flipping through stuff, like I don't need multiple reasons for me to get out. Get out if there's a reason to get out. Don't go be. I have done that social media investigative thing and it burnt me really, really bad. So I'm against it. That's it, guys. We want to hear. What's your take on it? Do you think you have the right to have your partner's access to your partner's personal information, i.e. their cell phone, their social media accounts, their banking information? If you think they have the right, why do you think so? And if you think you don't have the right, why not? And to what extent will you go? Is there a point where you're like, you know what? This is a no-go zone, or like Yinka, everything is accessible to me. The world is my oyster. Open. Guys, thank you so much for watching us and thank you for tuning in. Would love to hear from you. If you have not already subscribed, we cannot say this enough. Subscribe, like, comment, and make sure you bring your friends so that our family can grow. Ladies, is there anything else I'm missing?
You can follow us on Instagram.
True. We are on Instagram, The Friendly Three. We're also on TikTok. We've been dancing there, shaking our little bum bums. Well, big bum bums.
Little bum bum.
Little here.
But you can follow us for more fun content.
Yeah.
Well, as we always do, cheers.